열받네. 나도 게임 방송하는 것처럼 하고 싶다고. 막 트위치 방송하는 것처럼. 그거 왜 안 만들어? 빨리 해주세요, 빨리. 하고 싶다고요. 말로만 소통하는 게 아니니까 지금.
BTS news today. That night, the world seemed to stop for a moment when a small notification popped up on millions of phones across the globe. Rabbit-faced Jungkook has started a live on Weverse. A simple sentence of just a few words, yet powerful enough to make the air itself feel different. No one knew what he was going to say. There was no official schedule, no teaser, no announcement from HYB. It was just Jungkook, choosing his own time to appear, and within minutes, more than 5 million viewers filled that digital space as if their hearts were beating in the same rhythm. The camera captured his slightly damp face, his black hair falling messily across his forehead. He sat casually, wearing a simple black hoodie and a plain white t-shirt, yet that aura, the one only Jungkook had, made the screen feel alive. "Hi, Army," he said softly, almost in a whisper. Just 2 words, but the effect was like an explosion across the internet. Comments flooded in, digital purple hearts showered the screen, and the like counter skyrocketed so fast that Weverse itself seemed to lag for a moment. Jungkook smiled faintly, biting on his straw, staring into the camera as if he were speaking to just one person out of the millions watching. "I missed you guys," he said, and the virtual room erupted in waves of emotion. In cities across the world, Seoul, Jakarta, London, New York, Sao Paulo, fans watched with teary eyes because something about that night felt different. The way Jungkook looked, spoke, breathed, it all carried a depth they hadn't seen before. "It's been a while, huh?" he continued, his voice a little heavier now. I didn't really plan to go live tonight. I just felt like I needed a place to talk." He lowered his gaze to the table for a moment, then smiled softly, as if realizing that millions were watching. "You're still there, right?" he asked, and thousands of comments replied at once, calling his name. Filling the chat with love, a soft song began to play from the small speaker behind him. Not a BTS track, nor one of his solo releases, but a quiet Korean indie song few people knew. Its lyrics spoke about the rain and someone waiting endlessly for a return that may never come. Jungkook listened for a moment, then said, "Sometimes, I wish I could be like this song. Simple, but able to make someone feel warm." He looked back at the camera with that unreadable gaze. "You know," he murmured, "sometimes the world moves too fast. Some mornings, I wake up and realize the day has already passed before I even had time to breathe." He paused to sip his drink, then continued, his tone deeper. "But every time I open Weverse and read your messages, I feel like I still have somewhere to return to." Armies in the comment section began to cry. Some wrote, "Jungkook, please take care of yourself," while others just sent rows of purple hearts and "I love you." But amid the emotional flood, Jungkook suddenly smiled again, a soft smile meant to comfort everyone. "Don't worry, I'm okay," he said gently. "I just wanted to talk tonight. No script, no big cameras, no makeup. Just me, you, and this night." After a brief silence, Jungkook reached for the guitar beside him. He stared at it for a moment, then said, "I'm not sure if I can still play well, but let's try." His voice began to fill the digital air as gentle acoustic notes flowed out, perfectly balanced between melancholy and peace. He sang a stripped-down version of "Still With You," the song that has long symbolized his bond with Army. But this time, it felt different. The tempo was slower, his voice deeper, and near the end of the song, it trembled slightly as he whispered, "I'm still here, still with you." In what felt like a dream, the view count surpassed 5 million, and the like button soared beyond 50 million. No other artist in the world could achieve numbers like that from an unplanned live broadcast with no promotion. But Jungkook wasn't like anyone else. He had built a bond with his fans not just through music, but through honesty and vulnerability. "These past few months," he said after setting the guitar down, I've been thinking a lot about the future, about who I am off the stage, about how I can be myself without losing the love you've given me." He took a deep breath, his eyes steady on the lens. "I don't want to lose anyone, but I also want to learn to love myself without feeling guilty." The sentence struck everyone, not because it sounded sad, but because it was so sincere. Jungkook, known for his strength and energy, was showing something raw and human that night, something rarely seen in the glitter of fame. "Sometimes," he said with a faint smile, "I wonder, if I weren't Jungkook of BTS, maybe I'd just be some guy singing in a small cafe or sketching in a park. But then I realize, even if that were true, I'd still want to sing songs that make people smile. So maybe this really is my path." He paused, looking at the light behind the camera, then back to the screen. "And you're the reason I'm still here." Minutes passed. The comments flew even faster. Jungkook was trending globally within minutes. On Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, short clips from the live spread like wildfire. Fans translated every word, every smile, every chord. In Seoul, a cafe projected the replay onto a wall, filled with people sitting silently, watching. In New York, fans painted a small mural reading "Still with you, JK." In Jakarta, thousands wrote messages under the hashtag Jungkook Live Tonight. After almost 2 hours, Jungkook glanced at the small wall clock behind him and laughed. "I didn't realize it's been this long. I hope you're not bored." But no one wanted him to stop. He read some comments aloud, chuckled at a few funny ones, and smiled warmly at the supportive ones. "You always know how to make me laugh," he said, covering his face with his hands. Then suddenly, before ending the live, he went quiet. "Before I go," he said softly, "I want you to know something. I don't know when I'll be able to talk like this again, but tonight, I'm really happy. You made me feel alive." He looked into the camera one last time, holding back tears, and whispered, "Thank you, Army, for everything." The screen shook slightly as he reached to end the stream, but just before it went dark, his voice came through one last time, a quiet promise. "I'll be back. I promise." After the live ended, the internet turned into a storm. Within 30 minutes, the replay surpassed 10 million views. Comments from international artists, musicians, and even major brands poured in, praising Jungkook's warmth and sincerity. But the most touching message came from a simple fan comment. "We didn't just see Jungkook the idol, we saw Jungkook the human." In the following days, Korean and international media flooded with articles about that magical night. Some called it the most intimate Weverse live in history. Others titled it Jungkook's love letter to the world. But for ARMY, no headline could capture what it truly meant. Because for them, that night wasn't just a live stream. It was a conversation, heart to heart. Star2Sky.hyb made no official statement about the unexpected live. But one unnamed staff member told reporters, "Jungkook follows his intuition. Sometimes he goes live unplanned, just because he wants to talk to fans. Tonight was one of those times, and maybe his most honest yet." A few days later, Jungkook posted a photo on Weverse, a cup of coffee on a table, with a simple caption, "Still with you hot beverage." Within minutes, the post gathered over 10 million likes. In the comments, Jimin wrote, "I watched your live last night. You were amazing." Jungkook replied with a purple heart emoji and one word, "Hyung purple heart." And just like that, the world went quiet again, not because nothing was happening, but because something deeper was felt. There was no stage, no music video, no flashing lights. Just two friends quietly supporting each other, and millions who could feel that love without needing words. Now, even a week later, the live is still being talked about everywhere. The total view count has surpassed 50 million, and likes continue to rise beyond that. Unbelievable numbers, but real ones. Everyone agrees that that night, Jungkook didn't just go live. He made history, but beyond all those numbers, one thing remains immeasurable: warmth. Because in every word he spoke, every smile he gave, and every note he played, Jungkook reminded the world of something simple yet powerful, that sometimes the truest love is found in silence. In a quiet night shared between one young man and millions of hearts, and in the timeless message he whispered before saying goodbye, "Army, I'm still here."